Ni hao and welcome everyone to Indian Racing League. This is round 7, I want to say, of 18, and we are in Bahrain, and that's the Division 1 race here tonight. And joining me in the comms box are two very contrasting personalities. The first one, who's someone had a lot of battles with me this season, and they are clean for the most part. And the other person who is really annoying and has had a lot of dirty battles with drivers all around, but especially with me last season. Please welcome Harsh and Srikanth. The Ferrari boys were also 1-2 in the comms box tonight.
Hello, Malav.
Hello, Malav. Malav, that was pretty awkward introduction. So you didn't specify which one was
Yeah,
which.
I mean,
So
I'm
You
sure
were the
people
most
are
part, though.
people. I think are pretty smart to figure out which was which. But three people's
fair
comms,
enough.
so it is going to be a little bit hectic here. So it will be on the racetrack, gentlemen. What are your predictions and what are your thoughts about the circuit?
I mean, no predictions as of now until I see the first one because this is pretty unpredictable. The D1 grid is pretty impressive as of now. Like we have like 2 to 3 lead changes in the championship as of now between VFix, Blood X-Wave, and Vishnu. So I can't predict it till the last one. So yeah.
I'm going to predict that we are going to have some spicy battle between VFX and Redstone again because I feel like they didn't quite battle it out in France. I think they both are going to look forward to the race today.
Yeah, this is a circuit which encourages a lot of overtakes. We have three DRS zones, as PSI in the comment section saying that he woke up without an alarm here tonight. So, well, Harsh, you're also in Canada, so probably you could teach him a thing or two, but he's doing pretty fine. At least he did wake up in time and he's going to race with us tonight in his beloved Alpine. I don't see Chips here. I think he's missing for this weekend, and we now have 17, and Sonic Hawk has joined as well, so 18
Um,
drivers in.
Chips is here. Chips is in P11 as
Oh,
of now.
he's here. My bad. I thought he was not around, which is why I didn't do comms last night. But my bad. Good to see Chips racing. By the way, what a brilliant drive from Chips. Speaking of him, in France, I think he was P18, around P18 in qualifying, and ended up top 5 or top 6. It was a really well controlled race from Chips. Some good battles in the midfield in an otherwise boring race, but Chips definitely held his own, and that was a very good result for Alpine.
Oh, we have Azun, as always, retiring in quali. That's his classic strategy. And we have Hushra, who has started his lap and he's into turn 8. He has had a pretty decent sector 1 and into sector 2. This is where most of the drivers make mistake into turn 10 because you lock up into turn 10 and he takes it pretty neatly. And takes it in third gear. Some guys took it in second gear. I wonder who that guy was. So let's
Well,
continue on the yeah. Uh, he misses the apex by a bit and almost loses his gear, and like he's already on the limit on his first lap. Pretty decent. And this is turn 14, yeah, turn 14, and he's faster obviously because he's the first guy to set a time as of now. And pushed up with that Red Bull helmet and that number 5 Ferrari. Oh, that gives some memories back. And Hushak takes the final corner pretty well, and he activates his DRS and crosses the line to go 128.8. That's a pretty decent lap from and
And look
Redstone.
at that Redstone with 128.4.
yeah,
And we fixed doing his race runs
yeah, we fix on the mediums as
30.9.
usual, and expect him to go on to those faster, softer tires towards the middle of the session, and then going on. Bloodwave has put himself in P3 with a 28.9. So three people in the 28 so far. Ashwin Lakhwani with a decent lap. Well, not so decent. I think he will be out qualified by a lot of people if he does not improve. And what kind of pole times do we think we are gonna get here tonight? Especially
28-1. 28-1.
yeah,
That's it.
28. One is what Srikanth thinks. What about you, Harsh? What is your prediction for?
I mean, if Redstone is able to crack his laps like it did in his first lap, I think he might even be able to cross into the 27s.
Yes, I think his his time trial is at 27.9 or something. I'm not entirely sure, but
Yeah, it is.
it was pretty quick in
And
time
Jishnu
trial.
goes 129 flat. The
Yep,
former
29 flat.
championship leader. He
Yep,
needs
former
to
championship
like
leader. And speaking of which, Harsh or Srikanth, if you can take our viewers through the championship standings, especially in the drivers' championship, who's leading by how many points, that would put this whole race
yeah.
into some context as we are nearing the
So
halfway
we
point of the
have.
season.
So as of now, we have Williams 1-2. VFix leading from Blood X-Ray by 10 points. VFix is at 85 points and Blood X-Ray is at 70. Then we have Jishnu and P3 who missed a race last week in France and he lost out on valuable points and he is sitting at P3 with 71 points, 14 points gap to the leader. Then we have in P4 who is pretty far behind from the top three, Hushrav in the Ferrari with 51 points. Then we have Mercurial Caesar in the Red Bull with 38 points. Like the battle for midfield, like from top 5 to from P5 to P8. It's pretty close. Like they are at 38, 37, 31, 31 points respectively. So it's pretty close, and it's all out to play for today because it's already round 6 and we have like what the points difference is way too much from the top, so they need to recover fast. And we have almost all of the first runs completed, and Vyom uh, in P4 with 129 flat, only 700 faster than his teammate, and he's again going on his lap. No, he is on his lap. And Quick Killer goes 130 flat. I guess he's going for no, he's not. He's charging his
I
battery.
think Basil is about to complete his
So
lap, and across the line comes Alfa Romeo, and Baz puts himself in P6 between Jishnu and VFX. So Baz also has not been racing with us for quite a while now. I'm not sure if he raced in France. Probably he didn't, but he did make his comeback in the race prior to that. And speaking of comebacks,
in
finally we
Jeddah.
have. Oh yeah, in Jeddah, you're right. But we have finally, after a lot of seasons, and Harsh, if you can tell us what you think about it. But we have finally the official point system this time in IRL. Usually, in the past few seasons, we haven't had that. So, what's your take on this? Because the way the point system obviously will change the way the championship is decided, considering the drivers will earn different kinds of points for different positions.
So, I personally feel the system that we had before was also quite good because we necessarily don't have to follow what the actual F1 follows. It honestly leads to some innovation, and some leagues I've seen also give points for quali, so that also leads to people practicing for quali more. So honestly, I think some innovation in the points system is not bad.
Absolutely, and I
I
think
mean,
yes, Rick.
that's pretty controversial because I like the normal point because our mentality is already set from watching IRL F1, and so our mentality is according to that. So innovation is a bit of awkward moment for a season or two.
All
We
right, so now
experimented it
Redstone
last.
is on his way to begin a lap, and either of you, maybe Harsh or Srikanth, whoever wants to take us through this entire lap, will be on board with him throughout this Bahrain circuit as he challenges on to turn one.
Harsh, you take this lap. I am on board with Hushraf as of now.
Okay, so approaching turn 1 and 2, Redstone is able to go on throttle pretty soon, which and takes just the right amount of curve there and hits the apex in turn 4. Again, early on power, which is good.
But he has invalidated Redstone, so let's see if we can pick up someone else, maybe Hushrav. If you
For
can go
sure.
on
Yep.
board with
He's
him,
rounding up
yeah,
turn 10 and he has a wiggle in his rear, and out of turn 10 he was way too eager on his throttle and almost lost it, and he's having some kind of traffic in front of him, a McLaren and an Aston Martin. So I hope it isn't
McLaren will
a
move out.
yeah, push up with a pretty good sector one, and he has improved by half a ten, not that much, but he has improved. So let's see. I guess he might have had time in last run. So let's see how this goes. And he takes a wider line into the last corner, and it was a pretty
And
neat
he's not
last
able to get
corner.
on power the last
No,
turn.
but it was a pretty neat, and he improves by almost 2 tenths, and but he stays P2. He's
yep,
And
already
Blood
two
X-Wave
tenths.
has started a lap.
yeah. Bloodwave has started a lap, and ahead of him, it is VFix who's now through sector one and now into the heart of sector two. So VFix, this is his first run on those soft tires. So let's see how he does. And of course, this will have to count because he will have just one more opportunity after this to put a lap. And I think he took pole back in France. Obviously, he was on a different kind of a setup than everyone else. It was kind of a dry setup for VFix, even though everyone knew it is going to be a fully wet race. No such problems here or now. It will be a dry race as Bahrain and the Middle Eastern
And
races
he has
usually are.
gone fastest in sector 2.
Yes, he has gone fastest, but sometimes the game does throw a glitch. But knowing VFX and on those soft tires, it might very well be true as he now sees the start finish straight and is gone through it as he goes P2
And
Next
he's
just ahead of
P2.
P2.
Hushrav. But still, that time from Redstone Dub, sitting very tall and mighty, is still full 2 tenths clear of anyone else. Blood Wave
And
goes.
Blood
And
X-Wave
that
goes
X-Wave goes
128.4 as well.
Malav. The comms
That's the
curse is real.
opposite. That's the opposite of comms curse. I'm happy for Bloodwave. Both the Williams drivers. It's very likely that they might be leading the constructors championship, considering they are 1 and 2, just like Ferrari in Division 2. So it would be a good result for them here tonight if they can qualify higher up. Because if you're stuck in the midfield, and this is one of those tracks, because if you're stuck in the midfield, going into turn one on lap one, it could be very, very dangerous for you, irrespective of how clean and how cautious you are.
Exactly, Malav. And if you start in the midfield, you are always stuck in a DR string. And on this track, it's pretty difficult to overtake because if you go a bit offline,
Oh, and Abhishek
it's
has joined the session.
okay. It's pretty interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Abhishek has
Abhishek
joined the
might set a
session
time of his own.
and he's leaving. He's not able
Oh,
to take control. I'm assuming that's the problem. Now, let's see. URL Basil about to complete his lap. He's in P9 right now, behind Ashwin Lakhwani and ahead of Yash Kosalia. But across the line he comes. Oh, he's weaving up and he's coming back in the pits and he stays out. I'm not sure who he was dummying there because it's not
Practicing
race.
to dummy.
Yeah, he's practicing a dummy. Yash Gosalia is down on his time. Is Ashwin up on his time? No, he's down on his time as well. Is Shah Leclerc on a lap? I think he might be on a lap in his Alpha Tauri.
Yeah, he's
Oh,
on. No,
and
he's not. He
yeah, he
no, he
invalidated.
was not on his lap. Yeah, he was not using his battery. I guess he messed up in the earlier sectors, so that's why he's
okay.
going for another run as of now. Or
PSI is
he
on a
will
lap.
wait. Okay, PSI is on a lap. Let's see.
Or,
Okay, no, he's not. He's
no,
not.
yeah,
He's
he's
not.
aborted his lap as
Yeah,
well.
but his teammate Chips is definitely on a lap. He's on the back straight, approaching turn 11, and both Alpines have the track to themselves, more or less. There are very few cars on track right now. Everyone preparing for their final runs, and they would want to go out when the track is at its grippiest. So let's see what Chips can do here. Usually not a very strong qualifier, Chips, but his race pace is immense and he knows how to stay out of trouble and displays overall good racecraft to get into good finishing positions. But across the line comes the Alpine of Chips and he is doing the same
No,
thing which
And he
Baz did.
also dummies.
I'm
Yeah.
not, what is going
So
on here? I don't understand. If someone in the chat or even the two of you can let me know what drivers are trying to achieve by by doing that.
I think they
Um,
were just scared to cut the pit lane.
An easy level bot on a lap. Okay, never mind. He has switched off his ERS. So yeah, so Redstone is the first guy to come out of pits. Okay, so Malav, please let us through this lap because he's about to start his final lap because those tires don't last
Yeah, and
as
Redstone has
pretty
gone a
much.
little early. He will see a couple of cars and he'll have to clear them as traffic. But Redstone powering down the main straight. Let's see when he breaks his braking point just after the 100-meter board goes down to the second gear, short shift to third, which is what I did, and still my car gave up on me last night. As now Redstone uphill goes towards turn 4, uses the extent and the width of the track, braking on the curve, very controlled through that apex, and then loses the car a little bit on traction. He'll have to be careful and might have lost some time. And it seems he is dead exact on his time. There was no delta there at the first sector split, which means he has matched his time through the first sector, Redstone. Now he'll catch the McLaren, which I think is getting out of the way pretty soon. And then there is a Ferrari on an Alfa Romeo, I'm not sure. Goes down to second gear and then up to the third, onto the back straight, short shifting his way up the gears, keeps his car to the right for the left-hander coming out. He has to be careful here, doesn't want to take too much risks while going off track, but that was neat once again. But it doesn't seem like Redstone is himself. He's not really throwing his car around. He might still be gaining time. We'll see soon enough. He is
And
gaining
he's
a
up to
load of
10th,
time.
Malav.
2.5 tenths almost through that. He's getting a distant
Look
toe
at him
from.
getting that toe.
Yeah, he's getting that toe. Got some marbles on his tires for good measure as well. But now through the final corner, what a lap this has been. It has been controlled, but it will definitely solidify his pole as it goes
Oh,
28-0. What a gain in the last sector and the last couple of sectors, in fact. What a lap that is from Redstone, and I doubt anyone can really match that unless they throw everything at it.
But let's not forget about Bloodx Wave. He's a good qualifier, and the track evolution is gonna go crazy. And so track evolution is a great factor on this track because you gain a lot of time. You gain almost 6 tenths if you time it right. So let's
Yep.
see how this goes. Bloodx Wave going to start his lap. So Malav, I am going to take us through this lap. So let's be on board with him. And he activates his VR, starts his lap. Stops from this. Pretty nice. 326 and he breaks way before 100-meter mark. Focusing on that exit, takes a wide turn and onto the out of turn 3. He's also holding back. He's not also using all of that track and into turn 4 breaks after 100-meter mark. There's no 50-meter mark. Someone took it out and his rear end is ugly and into turn 6, 7, 8. It's a pretty decent sector 1 from Blood X-Ray and into turn 8 he that's a way too good sector turn 8, sorry. And into turn 10 where most of the guys makes mistake and lose time and he rides the curve. That costed him a bit of time, I see. And yeah, it's a straight and Abhishek's left the session again. That's sad. And into turn 11, oh my god, he's taking way too much curve and his car has almost spun, but still he's on track and he's kissing the curves. And he is not
oh, he
gained.
has lost out.
He
Yeah,
has lost
he's
out, but
not
look at
gaining.
VFix. VFix has gained quite a lot in Sector 1, half a tenth to be precise, but still not enough. What about Hushrav? Hushrav is about to complete his lap. He's gained a few tenths. He might be on the front row. No, he just misses out
Eh,
on it. He's P3 Hushrav. That's the best he can do. I'm not sure Bloodwave will improve. He's back in the pits. VFix now on the back straight. What about Caesar meanwhile? Caesar is just ahead of VFix in fact, and he will complete his lap first. So let's see what he can do. Vyom is in P6, and that's his qualifying because Basil has pipped him to P5. So that's a good lap from Basil. But Caesar now getting a distant toe from Haas up in front. And let's see how he finishes out this lap. Caesar is still improving because he's going to complete this lap. Is it going to be good enough to gain a couple of positions? It
Oh,
is!
and that puts him
Front
on front
row
row.
for Caesar. And what about VFX? It's
VFX
not
about to
enough.
complete his lap.
But I don't think it's enough to gain any positions.
Yeah,
And yes,
that
he
puts
does
him in
improve
P5.
time, but it is Front row for Caesar. That kind of came out of nowhere, taking me by surprise for sure. It's Redstone up on pole,
I mean,
and Caesar on the front row with Bloodwave, Hushrav, and VFix behind them.
Caesar from last few races, he is qualifying front row like in Jeddah. In France, I didn't watch the race, so I don't know
France,
where he
I
qualified. But
believe it was Hushrav, but I am not too sure of that. But that's qualifying over, gentlemen. And if one of you can take us through the grid we will have for this race in Bahrain tonight.
yeah, I will do that for you, Madam. So let's wait for the final classification. What a quali! What a monstrous time!
What a quali for real. I mean, props to
Uh,
Redstone for that lap, 4 tenths apart from the grid.
So let's go through the order. So we have Redstone with that monstrous time of 128 flat, 4 tenths ahead of Mercurial Caesar. Then we have Blood X Wave, Hushra, VFX Cutter, who had a pretty decent quali, but he expected more. Then we have URL Baza, Vyom, Jishnu, Quick Killer, Ashwin Lakwani rounding up the top 10. Then we have Yash Gosales, Sonic Hawk, Sid Venkatesh, Charles Leclerc, PSI Legends, Chips Chima. Then we have Easy Level Bot and Azul not setting a representable time. Chips Chima and PSI Legends. These guys are again starting from the back, so it might be some kind of strategy. I don't know. Let's see how this race pans out. Pretty interesting quality, to be honest. The P2 to P5 were pretty close on paper.
Yeah,
So
that just shows how much of a margin Redstone has over the rest of the pack. 4 tenths is a huge gap, and it almost looks like he's driving the real life Red Bull to have that kind of a gap. But props to him, that was a wonderful lap. While it didn't seem, that he was taking a lot of risks, but he was just so perfect with his gear changes and with the apex and the lines he was taking to pull that lap out. But sadly, just missing out on a 127 by I think half a tenth. But nevertheless, what counts is he's on that pole position and he will have the outside line going into turn one. So he'll have to be careful. He'll have to ensure that he gets a good start because there'll be people very very eager to pick up a few places off the start. It's a long run down into turn one.
can assure you don't want to start on the even side of the grid because the track is way too dirty, and on this game you get your tires dirty and you get some marbles on your tire and you lose grip. So you always want to be on the odd side or where the pole sitter is sitting. So what are your predictions, guys, for the race, Malav and Harsh?
Well, I definitely
Okay.
think,
Well,
but we don't have enough
race
time. The
is
lights are out and we're underway already. And everyone on the mediums, more or less. Let's see what's happening ahead of the field. It's Bloodway who's trying
Red
to pull out a move.
Caesar gets
Redstone
a
and
better start.
Caesar does get a better start.
And
Oh,
they
Bloodwave is
collide, they
round. There's a
touch. Oh, and
huge
Blood X-Wave is spun and all that.
Bloodwave
And
has
there's a chaos
spun.
in midfield as predicted earlier.
And there's a yellow flag. Well, Caesar is going down the inside of Redstone. They're going side by side through turn 4. Redstone did take the lead back from Caesar, and it seems like he's going to hold on to that lead. Further behind, Vyom has picked up a few places. Ashwin has picked up a lot of places. He has Bloodwave behind him, so Bloodwave has to settle for P6. Remember, he was fighting for, he's down, going down the inside of Ashwin Lakwani Bloodwave. And from on board from Baz, and Baz gets a good run on Ashwin. They'll all have to be careful down into turn. Oh, there's
Baz
contact.
made
Yeah,
contact with
that's
let's
bad.
say, from the start, both the Williams got
Both the Williams are lost
crashed.
out here.
Yeah.
And even Jishnu, I
So
think, had some incident.
I don't know. And there's Charles and Easy Level. What were they doing? I don't know. But we have Redstone leading from Caesar from Hushrav. And Viom is under threat from Blood X Wave. Blood X Wave, who is having
Yeah,
pace, can attack
Blood X
you.
is trying to make that move. And
So we might see a dive bomb incoming, and no, Blood X Wave stays back and he's going to gun it for turn 1. And Vium gets a better exit, and Vium is in the pit. I guess Vium had
Vyom
damage.
goes to the
Okay.
pits. Okay.
And now Blood X Wave is under threat from URL Basil, and Basil is peeking down the inside to look at the breaking points. And Ashwin Lakwani, he's also looking feisty, and he goes wide, and he's almost lose the position to Quick Killer. And we have pretty much... Okay, Sid Venkatesh almost loses it, and he's side by side with PSI Legends. PSI Legends down the inside, goes up in P12, and yeah, he keeps the P12. Both the Alpine boys are taking it slow and steady, and Ashwin Lakhwani losing out the position to Quick Killer. Quick Killer, who has been rapid from last few races, is making up positions now, and URL Basil is in P5. Let's look at the position changes, Mala.
Let's have a look at that. As yep, there you go. We have Quick Killer
Basil
has
on the
gained
back of
position.
Blood X-Wave.
Yeah, Baz seems to be very racy here tonight. And let's see if we can get Blood Wave. Now, DRS has not been enabled just yet. It will be enabled at the end of this lap. But Baz himself is in a good position, and up ahead the top two have kind of stricken away. Hushrav is in a no man's land. But here goes Baz. Is he going to go for a move here? He's gaining a lot on Blood Wave on the penultimate straight, but he is going to stay behind. And yes,
Malav, sorry to cut you off, but we have Jin in the chat saying that safety car is on broadcast. So, is there any kind of lobby restart on?
Oh, safety car is on broadcast.
Yes, and I have cross-checked it in the settings. So,
is it on broadcast?
Yes, it is on broadcast. I checked it in the settings.
So then we will have to restart, I believe. Utkarsh, Noah, if either of you are watching this, let me know if we should. I think we should restart, right? Because I'm assuming the AI takes over under safety car and the drivers will have no control over what they do.
Yes. And it will like eat up your IS and ERS. So.
Right, so we'll have to restart, guys. Hushrav, if you can, Jen, if you can tell VFix that, and can someone tell Redstone
I will
and
let out a chat.
Caesar know as well.
Possible.
And so we'll continue watching this battle between Bloodwave and Basil until then, but I'm pretty sure we'll have to restart the lobby, and then maybe, just maybe, Abhishek can join in, because he's not able to join in. Is trying for the longest amount of time to get in the lobby and pick a car. But Abhishek, yes, there is a lobby restart since the safety car is on broadcast mode. So you can tell Caesar and Redstone, at least you can inform them and let...
Wait, I will inform them.
Yep, so do that as Basil goes down the inside of Bloodwave, and that's the position gain for Basil, but Bloodwave will come back at him uphill, and Bloodwave will have DRS and Baz will have to settle back for P5. So that is the tricky part of overtaking here into turn 1. If you are clearing the car before the DRS detection line, that means the car who you just overtook will have DRS on you on the run up to turn 4, and they can take their position back. And for the rest of the lap, there are not a lot of opportunities, as that's Ashwin Lakhwani, and then there is Sid Venkatesh, who has completely lost it. Two veterans of the league, and I'm not sure what exactly happened there, but both have lost a lot of positions. It might not matter because we're going to restart anyway, but that did not look pretty the way they lost their cars. I'm not sure what happened with Ashwin. It's a safety car now.
Yeah.
And let's see if someone can let us know if drivers are not able to take control.
Hello, Mala. So, Caesar said that the lobby restart is not necessary, so we can
get
continue.
any type of confirmation.
So are people able to take control right now of their cars, or
I generally don't know.
Can you go back to that party and find out, Srikanth, since you were in that party, and now we have a safety car, so we'll know for sure whether people are in control of their own cars or is it broadcast mode.
So Malav, what I think is when all the 20 cars on the grid are in the line, that's when the AI takes control.
Oh, Ashwin Lakhwani gets a 5-second speeding penalty, which means that he is not in AI. So I have, I
Yeah,
think,
no,
enough
so
reason to believe that
I
drivers
am
in.
uh, I'm almost 99% sure when all the cars are lined up behind the safety car, that's when the AI takes control.
Okay, that will be Codemasters. One second, I've gotten a few calls, so let me call people back because they are from folks in IRL.
Okay.
Hello. Hello, Malav, Harsh.
Yes, Srikanth.
Yeah, so they said that they are in control of the car until the pack bunches up. Once the pack is bunched up, they will just, you know, teleport to restart. So there's not an extra lap of driving, so it doesn't really matter. And the restart of the lobby is not necessary as of now.
One second, let me just.
Yeah, confirm it. Sorry, I missed the cause of safety car. What was the cause of
Yeah,
safety car?
no clue.
No
No
clue.
one.
Okay. Okay.
I think
That.
it was because of an incident between Sidvi and Ashwin.
No, they didn't have an
Okay.
incident between each other. They lost their cars at the same time.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay. No.
So yeah,
Wing damage also
double
brings
yellow
up
flag.
safety car.
Yeah, so it
Yeah,
might be
the
debris, which is why we have a safety car since there is obviously no retirements right now.
Realism stonks.
But this is confusing. Even I'm not sure what we should do. I think we should restart, but I need a couple of other stewards to kind of weigh in on this. And while we do that, Ashwin Lakhwani has pitted again for a set of soft tires.
A set of soft tires. Okay, that's bold of him to like. I guess he's assuming that there will be another safety car like coming out in like 3-4 laps, so that he can gain places and then again pit for fresh hearts and go on complete his race.
Yeah, but a couple of mediums from here on out would have been fine as well. I'm not sure if he changed his wing or if he had damage. That could be one of the reasons that he had damage and the pit crew did not change his wing in the first attempt of the pit stop, which is why he had to pit again. But him and Charles both have caught up to the pack as well.
And the safety car is in this lap. I guess they are in control of the car, so I guess it's okay. So let's continue with that. Uh, you stay on board with Caesar or Shrav. I stay on board with Jishnu and
Yeah, I'm on board with Bloodwave, and let's see when Redstone finally decides to go. As Redstone is still weaving, and he's gonna probably take it slightly more towards the line as Bloodwave getting very eager there. So is Hushrav, and I think now is when Redstone has gone and Caesar has been caught out napping. Bloodwave will get a good run on him. So will Hushrav. It could be 3 wide down into turn 1. Redstone is uncontested, but P2 is up for grabs as Hushrav is between the Ferrari, between the Red Bull and the Williams, and it is Caesar who does come out in P2, and further behind it is Bloodwave and Hushrav who are fighting tooth and nail for that P3. Bloodwave using all his battery, and he might just go for a move down the inside. Hushrav does leave him space, but he has the better
Basil.
wider line, and
Basil out of
yeah,
all that.
that is
yeah,
brilliant racing by Trevin Blood Express.
yeah, good racing there. Hushrav did well to keep on to his position, but Bloodwave is
And
under attack from Baz, who's
Basil on Blood
going.
X-Wave. And they
And Basil
bang
goes.
wheels, but
Yeah.
and yeah, I think Basil will. keep that position.
But Blood X Wave is
But
coming back
no,
down
Blood
the
X Wave
inside
spins
and
it into and
he
he clashes
they
with
both
Hushrav.
are spun out. That's pretty opportunistic from Blood X Wave. You shouldn't do that.
Yeah, didn't have
Yeah, I
any
think he
control
lost a
on
bit
his.
of his head.
Yeah, didn't have any control on his
And
brakes
Vyom gets
whatsoever.
5 seconds for corner cutting. And
Yeah,
Sidvi and Easy Level exchanging plays. Yash and PSI. Yash down the inside of PSI into turn 11, and Yash keeps that last point being position. And Easy Level and Sidvi, they are side by side. They are fighting way too hard for a non-point ping position. They are at P39. Sidvi getting the toe from Easy Level bot around the outside. Sidvi on fresh hard tires, breaks late. They are going side by side. They leave each other enough space and they make contact. And Sidvi needs to back out, and he's under threat from Easy Level Bot's teammate and Blood X Wave in the pits. It's
And
obvious he had damage.
Jishnu is making a move on VFX. And he does so.
VFX goes wide.
And and VFX loses time there. I don't know if Jishnu pushes VFX off or VFX had a moment there.
yeah. VFX look like, oh, Bloodwave is retired. That's in
And
the
Blood X
pits.
is retired.
That's in the
Oh, it's in
pits,
the-
and I'm not sure why he chose to retire there. But Jishnu is up into P5. VFix probably outbroke himself because I didn't really see any kind of contact between him and Jishnu. But that's him down into P8 just behind Hushrav, who was the person who was tagged by Bloodwave, by the way. So Hushrav.
And it's yellow flag for Blood X Wave's car. That's typically it. Easy Level and PSI Lens.
No,
actually,
but Blood X Wave was not retired in the pits, Malav. I don't think so.
he did retire
He
in the
did?
pits. Yes, he did.
Right up ahead, Caesar is 7 tenths behind Redstone, and if he can keep a similar gap next lap, Caesar will have DRS as Easy Level bot I said Easy Level goes around the outside of PSI, but I
Clip it
think
out, guys. Clip it out.
but I mean the kind of move he made was worthy of that title which I just gave him. But now PSI is under attack from Leclerc. So PSI really struggling.
And now Jishnu has caught
Jishnu
up to
now
Quick
looking to make a move on Quick Killer.
And Jishnu down the inside, and Quick breaks late. Down the inside, Jishnu goes up into P4. The Haas of SFR Sonic Hawk
Haas is
outside. Okay. Quick gets the... Okay, no. Jishnu gets the DRS from
Jishnu gets the DRS and Quick Killer is left hanging there.
Yeah.
But he somehow keeps the position from the Haas for now.
And Sonic Hawk spins.
Sonic
and
Hawk.
Haas spins.
Just
That's
a bit
pretty
too
unfortunate.
eager.
Charles and Sid going side by side into turn 4 the lead, and they're going again side by side, and Charles almost they were all on the verge of spinning out. And Ashwin Lakwani down the inside of Sid Venkatesh. Ashwin Lakwani is still Ashwin on new softs has gained pretty much nothing, so his softs are going in vain, so he needs to make move fast. And looking at the front, the gap between Caesar and Redstone is constant, and Basil is falling down from 1.6 to 1.7 now.
And it is in fact Hushrav who's now caught up to Quick Killer. So if Quick Killer is not careful here, he will lose DRS to Jishnu, and that would mean that Hushrav will have an easy pass on him on the main straight. But as it stands, Quick Killer will have DRS, so he will have that advantage of the rear wing falling open on the main straight and on to the run to turn 4. But if Hushrav decides to deploy a bit more battery, then Quick Killer, he will be through, and that's exactly what he seems to be doing. Hushrav down the inside of Quick Killer, two very good friends off the field, and that's sarcasm. But that is Hushrav up. Oh, this VFX trying to go
down the inside, now
Yeah.
on the outside, and VFX didn't make the move, and Quick Killer VFX
Sonic Hawk might be making a move on Yash anytime now.
But VFX round the outside into turn 4. Quick Killer pushes him off, and he's on the dirty part of the track. That's what I was talking about. You don't go on the dirty part of the track. And he has lost out on Quick Killer. And we have Vyom and Sid Venkatesh losing trading positions. And Sid Venkatesh is losing out positions like what? I don't know what he is doing. I guess he's having some kind of damage, and they are. And Sid Venkatesh cedes the position to Vyom, and we have Ashwin Lakwani on back of Sid Venkatesh. With those soft as and DRS enabled, he might as well make the move into turn 11. Ashwin Lakwani gets a pretty bad exit. And Sonic Hawk and Yash Gosalia, they are pretty close. Sonic Hawk, his rear end is not stable looking from the POV. It's pretty scary to see that
And there
house.
goes these two drivers again. Easy level bot once again making the exact same move round the outside of PSI and has made that move straight. But on the main straight, he will be under threat. We'll have to go back to this battle for P5 as Quick Killer now tries to get his position back from Hushrav, and VFix will have to watch
No,
back
but
once again.
Hushav gets DRS on Jishnu.
Yeah,
So
that's very
And
crucial.
give him some
PSLS
breathing
and
space.
easy level bot again going side by side with Azun. They are going 3 wide into on the main straight into turn 1. PSI gets away faster and he is ahead of the pack, and Yash Gosalia and Sonic Hawk trade position. They are side by side out of turn 3. Yash Gosalia is ahead. With that DRS, he's down the inside and he breaks late and covers Sonic Hawk neatly. That was a pretty neat move from Yash. Now Sonic Hawk goes for the switchback. They're going side by side and I don't like it. Yeah, I get PTSD after that. And Sonic Hawk backs out. So we have Chips Chima joining the battle. Chips Chima, a silent guy
Yeah,
who is
and
like...
Chips Chima might make this move on Sonic Hawk because he got much better run here. But
Yeah.
Sonic Hawk, well,
And Charles almost stabs the
oh,
rear
and
of
Chad
Chips.
stabs Chips.
And down the inside, Charles make the move on Chips Chima and he has DRS and
But I think,
both
yeah,
DRS.
Charles,
Sorry. And Charles breaks late to keep
Charles
the
will
P10.
overtake Chips there. So yeah, Charles will move up to P10.
Up ahead, Caesar has almost lost DRS to Redstone. He keeps getting it back at the crucial part of the lap where he's on the penultimate straight. So Caesar will have DRS on the back straight. I think Sid has just overtaken Jones
And
there.
Sonic Hawk down the inside of Yash Gosalia makes the move. He is ahead of Yash Gosalia and Charles Leclerc also going for a move on Yash Gosalia. That Ferrari is way too vulnerable right now, and Jeff Shima is way too far ahead, and Charles Leclerc is ahead, and he is also gonna make the move on Sonic Hawk, and
Oh,
down
and
the inside goes Charles Leclerc,
Charles will
and
move up to P8. So
yeah,
the
and
brilliant
yeah.
last few laps for Charles.
And both the white cars are going at it again into turn 4. Sonic Hawk not having the DRS. Okay, and
But we should note that Charles is also on fresher tires because he pitted. for
yeah,
fresh
fresher,
medium.
faster tires. Yeah. And we have easy level bot PSI and Azun trading positions. Azun lost out 2 positions on easy level and PSI. I don't know what happened. He had a moment or what, but
And the battle for P4 is now going to brew because Hushrav has caught up to the back of Jishnu, is very close, and Quick Killer and VFix in close pursuit as well. So Jishnu has not really made up any ground on Basil, which is why he has fallen into this trap of a DRS train. And now Hushrav is going to go for a move here, is going to attempt one at least, because behind him, Quick Killer is looking mighty fast. And if Hushrav does not get this move done, he might fall prey to the AlphaTauri behind.
so yeah, I said that this track is prone to DRS trains, so it's pretty much a DRS train. Last season we had a DRS train between.
And Jeshnu is flashing, so I think Hushrav will definitely go for that move in this lap.
Proud of you, Harsh. And yeah, last season we also
Oh,
had.
and Jeshnu goes defensive.
And Jishnu goes wide into turn 1. Harsha side by side into
But
turn
he
2.
will
out
still
of-
keep that position, and Hushrav will get the DRS in Jishnu again.
And Quickly and VFX are
Jishnu
staying
goes
behind.
defensive again, and
And he rides the
brilliant
curb and
racing between these
and
two.
Harsha makes the move on the outside and
Harsha
he's
will
up
make
into
that
P4.
move.
Yeah, good move by Hushrav, and Abhishek's in the chat saying that Jishnu has damage to his front
Okay.
wing. Not a lot of damage, but
And he
Oh,
almost
and Jishnu just stabs Hushrav in the rear there.
and has
Proud
lost a
of you,
couple
Jishnu.
of positions, and now fighting VFX side by side through turn
Oh.
10.
And
And
look at
VFX
that.
is run out of road. They're both of them off the track.
and Quickly
it's-
was also off track. I don't know why, but he was also off track.
Yeah,
so
Quickly
they have
probably
they've
just
lost the
lost his-
DRS on Hushrav. Yeah. So
Yeah, so Hushrav is gonna bolt away now and would be thanking his stars that they have lost DRS in the process. While Quick Killer can try to get it back, and if he floors it on this back straight and ensures he has enough battery in store, he might just about get DRS. The gap is tantalizingly close, but I think he has just lost out. There's
And
a
we have yellow flag for
yellow
the
flag
LP
for
now.
He
PS
loses out.
silence. Yeah.
yeah, it's PSI and it is pit stops time for most of these drivers because remember it's a one
Oh,
stopper usually.
decides to stay out.
Yeah, Hustav does decide to stay
And
out, so does VFix. So they are both going to continue on for one more lap. And let's see when they come out. And it is once again this battle between Chips, Sonic Hawk, and Yash Kosalia, which is now going to be battle for P4, although that will change once they all pit.
So, Malav, I have a question. Can Hushrav and Vivek stretch it till lap 20 or near lap 20 and go on thoughts and end the race and attempt an overcut?
I think they can try that, but they will lose a lot of time, I think, on
Because
those
they are not.
mediums. So I'm
yeah,
not sure that's
only
the
a
right
safety
strategy.
car will be able to save them at that point.
Yeah, otherwise, they would just lose a lot of time on these worn mediums. The fresh hards would theoretically be faster, and while they would gain a lot of time on those fresh softs later on in the race, but it would just be too late and they would not have enough laps. Remember, the socks will die out as well after maybe 4 or 5 good laps when you're
And
absolutely leaning
Azun
on those
on that
tires.
old tires, he lets Michael Caesar go because he almost lost his cars. So,
So
why is
Caesar
this
will
really
have to ensure
common?
he keeps in touch with Redstone. He has just about lost DRS to Redstone and has been there or thereabouts in that 1 second window to the Mercedes driver. And let's see what Hushraf does this lap. He's just running out the final corner. We should expect him to come into the pits, but he decides to continue on. VFX decides to continue on as well. So maybe they have heard you and Srikanth, and they are going to continue on for one more lap. But this is a brilliant
Why?
battle for P3 as
Yeah.
Leclerc is now being chased by Sonic Hawk, who's being chased by Yash Kosala, who's being chased by Chips. I don't think there's going to be any overtakes into turn one, but down into turn four, we might see a move being made. The hard tires would also be feeling some tire wear, but are still good to go for the next few laps before they come in for a change. And the fact that they've gone so far, hard tires are more likely to go on a set of softs, maybe.
So it's Diaz and Azun is trading position with URL Basil.
Yeah, so they are
Okay,
teammates,
there.
and he's just letting Baz through. So Azun, obviously, on those old hards, Baz has just pitted on. But let's see, Redstone still a few tenths off from the DRS window of easily
And
what
Sid Venkateshan, okay, Sid
again
Yeah,
Venkateshan.
teammates.
and all of this, Caesar loses big time on Redstone. He loses over 2 seconds almost.
Yeah, I'm not
I
sure what
guess
happened
Caesar
there
had
because Caesar was
had a
one and a half
moment.
seconds behind Redstone. Now is quite far ways off. Sonic Hawk on the back of Leclerc once again, but Leclerc doing a good job keeping these drivers behind, despite there being 3 DRS zones on this circuit. So let's see what comes next,
It's
and
Diaz
let's
train.
see. Yeah, let's see what Hushraf and VFix do. Once again, on the end of this lap, 14 laps still to go. There's still a lot of time, and Hushraf decides to stay out.
And they
VFix
are
decides to
staying
stay
out.
out as well.
And Charles is also staying out. I guess he won't pit. I
Yeah.
guess he will pit for softs at the end of the race. And SFR Sonic Hawk, in my famous words, he's flashing and down the inside he goes. SFR Sonic Hawk, Charles Leclerc dummies him into for his DRS, and Charles Leclerc with that battery and DRS, he will make the move into turn 4 again on SFR Sonic Hawk. SFR Sonic Hawk covers the inside, Charles goes around the outside. Charles make the move. It's a pretty straightforward move for Charles. No, Sonic Hawk all
Oh, Sonic
again
Hawk once again! That
the
corner is
same
not
place.
kind to him as he loses his car under traction once again, gives the place to Chips, Yash Gosalia, and Redstone as well. So Redstone is
And
now joined his battle. He's a pit stop ahead of the cars he's battling, and VFX has crept up on Hushrav now. Within DRS now, not gonna matter much because they're going to pit pretty soon, both of them.
no, but in all that, Caesar lost out 2 places, and I don't know what happened to Caesar. He almost 4 seconds behind Redstone. I guess
So
he had,
Sonic had a spin there, and that basically gives the free position to Redstone.
yeah, free position and some buffer from Material Caesar, who was threatening him for that P1. So let's see how this goes. And Redstone on the back of that DRS and just chips. Okay, that was a pretty awkward
So it
letting through,
has
but
been quite easy for Redstone in these last few laps because all the cars are not looking to fight him right now because they know he's on much fresher tires.
I mean, it's not sensible to fight anyone on fresh tires and lose out on your own battles. And Caesar making. Okay, never mind. That was Sonic Hawk in the pits after spinning on 16 lap old hards. He will pit a bit on. He will, he will go for the medium tires. So let's see how this pans
And
out
yes,
for.
Kosalia lets Redstone through
Redstone,
as well. So Redstone is going to have an easy run now on Leclerc, but he has caught him at a bad time. He'll lose time in sector 2, where it is the twisty section of the track. Can't really make an overtake until turn 8 if Redstone is brave on the brakes. But that's not really going to happen considering Charles is in control of his car, and so best opportunity for Redstone would be here in the traction zone. And Charles Leclerc, of course, lifts off to let
I,
our net race leader through. So Redstone now about 7 seconds behind Hushrav, who's being overtaken by VFX as we speak. VFX definitely decided to go for it, but not really making it through.
oh,
It
and
is
VFX
Hushrav
has a
still.
moment there.
Yeah, he
they are
does have a
not
moment,
feeling the
but
grip
he
on
does
those
not have
tires.
the race lead as Baz overtakes easy level bot. We are for this battle right now, which is between Hushrav and VFix. They are going to lose still more time to Redstone, who's now in free air. But do they decide to pit on this lap, or now I think they have committed to a softs to mediums to soft strategy, Srikanth. So I think both of them are going to continue. Yes, they do
They
that
might,
as
but
Chips
they
loses
shouldn't
multiple
fight.
positions as VFX overtakes Hushra for the lead of the race. Redstone goes on, and it is
And Charles in the
VFX.
pits, and Chips also in the pits. So this
Charles
has
is
triggered a pit
Charles got a
stop,
5 second for speeding.
Yeah,
and
that's a
that's
5 second
pretty
for
sad.
Charles in the pit lane, so that's not going to help. As Hushra, we would have hoped that he can get VFX back into turn 4, but that's not going to happen either. So Redstone now 4.5 seconds is the gap, and we'll keep monitoring this after the end of each lap to see how much he's gaining by. I reckon it is more than a second a lap. The advantage which Redstone has over these people, and Caesar 2.5 seconds further behind.
And Yash, who is on 70 lap old hard, is not like falling that much off. He's in the DRS range of Caesar.
And Leclerc
So
has come out on softs, and that is a pretty tall order for softs to go 11 laps in this race on this
I mean,
track.
mediums are pretty hard to keep up with 11 laps. So
Yeah,
thoughts are.
so he will be very quick initially. Charles in his Alpha Tauri is in P11 right now, but I'm pretty sure he would be either banking on another safety car or he would hope that his tires hold on. This could be puncture territory for him towards the end of the race.
It might be, but now we have a DRS train of Charge, Chips, and Sonic Hawk. And I have the glitch, that onboard glitch, and the sound is choppy.
But
Again,
here
thanks,
goes
CH.
Baz. Baz on the back of Yash Gosalia, who still decides to stay out. And Basil is going to have an easy move done on the Ferrari as Basil is up into P4. That is net P3. That's a really good race for Baz. Redstone Dub, by the way, took off 2 seconds from VFX and Hushrav's lead.
I mean, it is pretty obvious they are
And
on
all of
18
that
lap
was
old
just in a lap's
mediums.
time.
Yeah, just in one lap. So Redstone, I think probably by the end of this lap, will be very, very close to the top two. And while Vyom and Azun exchanging positions there, Azun on the main straight, just getting through to Vyom. So he's up into P14. But yes, Redstone, with every passing corner, is eating up into the gap which the top two have. They would be really, really praying for a safety car right now because if that happens, they can dive onto those soft tires and make it to the end easily. But that would also force the hard runners to pit for softs because the hard tires will be no match for those fresh soft tires. And there's another overtake coming up here, which is Quick Killer on the back of Sid Venkatesh. Sid Venkatesh keeping to the left of the track, and Quick Killer has a wide swooping run through the turn 11, and he is up into
So
P8 now.
Redstone has caught up to Hushraf's DRS, I think, in this lap.
It's just about missed out on DRS, I believe. So on this main straight, Redstone will not have DRS. but
He
on
will have
the
it for the second year straight.
yeah, he
And
will have it on the
Hushav
battle
and
too.
VFix are
Yeah, because Hushav is flashing.
proud of yours. So let's continue this. And Redstone has fallen like a second behind. Did he get the DRS? And there's a yellow flag for
And
McLaren
no,
of
so
Ashton
he does
Lemon.
not get the DRS somehow
Yeah,
on Hushav there.
Hushav and
But I
VFix are
don't
pulling
think
each other.
either Hushav or VFX will be looking to fight Redstone here.
I mean, sensibly they shouldn't because they are in their own battle and Redstone is just way too fast to defend right now on those fresh hard tires. So Redstone getting a good exit on Ushra and he will break early to get a superior exit on Ushra and he gets the DRS and he gets him on the exit. Not even DRS. He gets him on the exit of that turn 10, and he's ahead of Ushra
So
and
let's see
he's not.
what VFX can do to keep Redstone behind.
Yeah, the rivals from last season. Pretty too much drama between them. So let's see how this goes.
Yeah, I don't think VFX is gonna fight it too much. Even if he wanted to, he won't be able to. So that
Yeah.
probably he will be smart enough to let Redstone go and have his own race because his battle is with Hushrav and not Redstone. So on this back straight, I first want to see if VFX is going
And
to
he
dive
is
into the pits.
struggling.
And he is
Efex
diving into
is
the pits. VFX! This is going to be
Oh,
close
Oh,
and
and
VFX!
oh,
There was the drama you ordered, gentlemen. VFX has
I'm out of words. I'm out of words. I don't even know what to say right now.
I could literally see it coming because I was pretty sure VFX is gonna pit, and I hope that he can get his car back up onto the track. Yes, it does now. But he wanted
I
to go
don't know.
inside into the pits. Jishnu
And
has
just when
retired.
Jishnu retires
okay,
Where
in
that
the
has he?
pits.
That's in the
okay.
In the
pits.
pits.
I think he had some slight damage as said earlier by Abhishek, but in a span of a lap, what the fish just happened? My God.
Yeah, so yeah, as I was saying, it was
Uh,
VFX who wanted to go into the pits, and Restaurant was
and I
adamant
think even
to go
VFX
from his right,
is going.
and
I think that
yeah.
will bring an end to VFX's race as well.
Yeah, now he's out of points. VFX he has to make a pit stop, which will make him lose more positions. Redstone is your race leader, 5 seconds ahead of Caesar, and Baz is a further second and a half behind. Because just Kosalia yet to pit as well, so 20 lap stint for Yash Kosalia, and now he would be hoping to get on to those soft tires. Easy level bought also 16 laps on those softs further behind. Quick killer on 7 lap old heart. So Yash Kosala can I think still finish P4 here if he plays his cards right.
I mean, he can if he bolts on the new soft tires. He will have the pace. And Hushav, who is his teammate, is on fresh soft tires and he is catching up to Sid Venkatesh, who is on 16 lap old hearts. So, and Yash Kosala pits
Yash
and take it
finally.
carefully. Yes, he did take it carefully. And let's see what tire he
So, what do
goes.
you guys think? Where will Hushrav end up after all of the 7 laps of racing? Do you guys think he has a chance at podium here?
I think
I
podium might
mean,
be slightly
podium
out of grasp
is
here
yeah,
because
P4 is the max he
those
can get
P4 is
as of
something he
now.
can easily get. But considering the time he has bled to the likes of Caesar and Baz, podium might be a bit of a stretch, but he's making
And
quick
Rishabh goes down
work.
the inside of Sid
Uh,
Venkatesh and he's making a place and he's up into P6, VFX cutter and okay, VFX pits for new socks and yeah, he is P15.
Yep, P15 for VFX, so it will be a tall order for him to gain some points here tonight. But let's look at how much Hushrav needs to gain. It needs to gain about 15 seconds for him to catch up to Baz, and he has 7 laps of racing, so it's about 2 seconds per
2
lap, and that
seconds per
would be
lap.
the kind of advantage he would have in the first 3 to 4 laps of racing. But after those 3 to 4 laps is when those softs are probably going to die off, and that advantage will diminish with every single lap. As there's a battle brewing here between Leclerc, Chips, and Sonic Hawk. They have been battling all race, and they have done that right now as well in the last stint with only 6 laps to go after this one. and it seems like they are inseparable and they're fighting for those last few points playing positions. Azun a few seconds behind, and let's see. Hushrov 1.2 seconds behind Quick Killer, but here goes Chips on the back of Leclerc, and Chips is making that move easily. But let's see if Sonic Hawk can make his way through as well. I think Sonic Hawk is just about trying that, and he'll have DRS uphill into turn 4. There goes side by side. Sonic Hawk up into P9. And can he get Chips? I think he's too far back to make that move on the Alpine.
And in the meantime, Yash and Azun also traded position. Yash on those soft tires, he's also making progress, and he is chasing last point swing position. So yeah, let's see how his race goes. And Hushav on the back of Quick Killer with those soft tires. Hushav on the exit
Ushav and
gets.
Yash are actually on some real life Ferrari strategy today.
I mean, yes, they are. And Hushav makes a pass of Quick Killer into P5. Wait, okay.
Yeah, that's Hushrov into
Yeah,
P5,
Ushav is
and then
already into P5, so
And he is
he has
gaining and
5
gaining and gaining.
laps to
1
gain
point
13 to cover 13 seconds on
14
easy level.
seconds from P3
Oh,
and
sorry,
one
P3. Okay, yeah.
yeah 14 seconds, and he is gaining, and he didn't get Diaz, but he will get the Diaz in the next straight. And 7 tenths is what separates Easy Level Bot and the Ferrari of Hushav. So let's see how this battle pans out. And we have Chipsty and Sonic Hawk again. Sonic Hawk with that DRS going down the inside, and he makes the move on
Yash
Chips.
with the fastest lap.
And Chips Shima forcing deep into the turn 1, and Sonic
And
Hawk is having a penalty, so he needs to
we
drive.
see that easy level bot is not
And Ushav
easy giving
and
up his position.
yeah,
Easy
on
level
those
is presenting a fight
there
with
is
his 19 laps old hearts.
there is some history between these two. So Easy Level Bot will not give their position easily, but he might just have to because Hushrov has just way much superior
No, but
traction.
he's still defending the inside
Yeah,
there.
because Hushrov probably
Ushav is
just
so pissed off.
thought better of it, and now on this straight is where Hushrov will have DRS and the overspeed Easy Level Bot. I think this time we'll have no choice but to let that Ferrari through. He can fight all he wants, but he has released Hushrov into P4. 14
but they're still
seconds.
side by side. They're
Oh,
still
and
side by side.
still easy level bot is able to stick around his back.
Yeah, Easy Level Bot is not letting go that. And there's a hard spot. Sonic Hawk spinning again. No, Sonic Hawk, no.
That was a different corner to the previous two. That was turn 4. This time it was turn 11 where Sonic Hawk spun. Didn't really catch the incident on stream. Not sure what happened. If it was all
Yeah,
by
and
himself or was he battling another car. But his evil bot has continued to stay in DRS of Hushrov. Easy level bot, by the way, 20 lap old hards. Fighting for P5. But I think he's now gonna get overtaken by Quick Killer as well come next lap.
And Sonic Hawk in the pits. He's going for the fastest lap. Oh no, he retired.
Here goes Leclerc, by the way, on the back of Chips. They're going side by side. Leclerc will have the outside line to turn 4. He'll have to be very careful on the brakes. Chips slightly pushing him towards the edge of the track, and just about fair racing by both of them. Chips does keep his P8 as Leclerc now with 7 lap old softs would be feeling the brunt of tire wear.
I mean, yes, Bahrain is a high tire wear circuit and it affects your rears the most. So, getting traction is the most difficult thing on old tires, and he's on old worn soft tires. So, let's see. But he's not losing that much to Chips, who is on a better tire because obviously, and Sonic Hawk has left the session. Obviously, he's on medium, 7 lap old medium. So, let's see. But Charles is having a penalty, and Yash is also closing in, so he
Here
needs to
goes
keep that
Quick
in
Killer,
mind.
by the way. Quick Killer trying to
Quick
go on the
Killer
back of
will.
Easy Level Bot. But Easy Level Bot will keep the position, and smart by Quick Killer to stay behind because he will have DRS on the main straight now and will make quick work of that McLaren.
And Quick Killer goes down the inside, takes that P5 from easy level bot, and PSI Legends in meantime gets a 3 second penalty. And easy level bot, I guess his tires have fell off the cliff and he's losing way too much time to quick killer now. So let's see how this goes, and they both go a bit wide into turn 4. And in the meantime, URL Baz, I was keeping a watch on that Delta. He was gaining a bit on Mercurial Caesar. So are we seeing a fight incoming for P2?
Yeah,
So
let's see if that happens. Baz one and a
Yash
half
on the
seconds.
back of Charles right now.
Yep,
So
Yash
Yash
is on the
very
back of
well might
Charles.
get up to P7 if he's able to
Charles
gain
did not have
DRS
the best
for
of
these
the exits
cars.
out of turn 10, and Yash has to stick behind because the Alpha Tauri has DRS, but they've seen the best days behind them as Ashwin Lakwani retires in the pit lane. But let's see what Yash can do. I think his best opportunity might be here on the next straight where Charles would be compromised and Yash will still get DRS. Let's see if Yash tries to go for it. He does, but then at the same time, Charles using his battery as well. So Yash will have to stay behind in P10. He can actually get P6 here if he is careful. So let's see. In fact,
And we
P5.
have yellow flag. Yellow
Yep,
flag
yellow
for
flags for Ashwin Lakwani's car, which would have come out. But here goes Chips and Sid side by
Chips
side.
down the
Is
inside of Sid Venkatesh, and Chips, they're still side by side into turn 2 Yash, and that's a McLaren of easy okay, no, never mind, that's in Lakwane. I don't know. And in all
Yeah,
of that,
just came out on the track.
and Yash
oh,
Ghoshal and Chips make
Oh, and
contact.
Yash and Chips. Oh, that is
Not a good
unfortunate.
day for the Ferraris.
well, it was always going to happen. There were four cars trying to occupy one piece of the track, and Yash Kulsar trying to sweep around Chips, who was eager to keep his position. And as such, it is Yash who has lost out and is in P11 now. He could have gotten P6 there or P7, but now he is out of points, and I'm not sure if he can get enough in the next few laps to actually at least get 1 point on a zone. But the gap for P2 is 1.2 seconds, and Baz, if he can just push a little bit more, he can
Yeah,
get a,
Baz
maybe
is
a,
throwing everything he has towards Caesar right now.
yeah, he's trying his level best, but so is Caesar, and is just about maintaining that gap to Baz and is successfully avoiding the Alfa Romeo driver getting
Baz
DRS.
gets a much better exit there in turn 3, turn 2.
Currently watching Easy Level Bot because he has not given up after being overtaken by Quick Killer, and he might want to go for a move here, but I think it's the slow corners where his worn out tires will lose out a
And
lot of
Sid
position.
Venkatesh and Chips Chima exchange position. They're side by side out of turn 3, and who gets DRS? Okay, Chips Chima gets DRS, and he's ahead of Sid Venkatesh, and he keeps the P8, which can be turned into P7 if he stays 3 seconds behind Charles, I guess. I don't know about the penalty situation. And we have 3 guys in the pits: VFX, Yash, and PSI Legend.
I think they
All
might
of them
just
going for
all go for the
for the
fastest
fastest
lap
lap.
here.
And Vyom coming out ahead of VFix Cutter, which can be a better traffic for VFix to set that fastest lap. So let's see if Vyom lets go of P11. Okay, never mind. Vyom is also on fresh tires, so no, he won't let go of that P11. So let's see how this goes.
Yeah, up ahead, Redstone has had a commanding lead, especially in the second stint. Really stretched his legs, and he is now just a few corners away. He has almost caught up to the Alpine of PSI Legend. So PSI Legend is fighting for his life and avoiding trying to get lapped here, and he should have that advantage on those fresh softs. But it seems like Redstone is still catching on to him with 15 lap old hards here. And Caesar has done just about enough to keep Baz in P3. Hushav tried his best and he will finish in P4, but sadly those soft tires just don't have enough performance in them after the first 4 or 5 laps. So he'll finish P4, and Easywell Bot has also kind of dropped off a little bit from Quick Killer. So it will be Quick Killer finishes P5, a strong result for him. But very good drive, I would say, from Easy Level Bot. 24 lap old hards. I'm assuming that's when he pit for the first safety car. And wow, that is an immense stint on those hard tires. Leclerc might just about catch him, but it's not going to be enough. But it's going to be Redstone who's going to round off the final corner. I think he won the first race in Hungary. I'm not too sure, but it's definitely going to win here in Bahrain. It's Redstone after taking
Oh,
pole by 4
Kushavar.
tenths wins by 10 seconds, and it's going to be Caesar who finishes P2 as he hugs the
And
pit wall.
that's a 10-second gap between P1 and
Uh,
P2.
that's a huge gap. It's commanding victory from Redstone. Hushrav is going to finish P4. That's a good result for him, good haul of points, but he would have expected more from this race. It is Quick Killer who's going to finish P5. VFix has overtaken Vyom, by the way, in all this. So I'm not sure what's happening. And is either of them going to go for the fastest lap? Not entirely sure. Chips, let's go off. No, I think he just lost a position there. So he is going to finish in P7 ahead of Sid Venkatesh. Leclerc, I think, loses positions because of his 5 second time penalty in P9. Azun gets one single point in P10. VFX, who could have been right there with Hushrav, would have been P4 maybe or P5, but had an incident with Redstone, is going to finish out of points in P11. He might get the fastest lap.
No, he didn't.
I'm not sure if it
Biome
did.
is having the fastest lap as of now.
Yeah, and Vyom does
And
keep that fastest lap.
Yash,
And Yash Gosalia just drives straight into the pits out of frustration. It is going to
Ferrari's
be,
season summed up in a
yeah, in one clip. But it's PSI Legends who finishes P13. And that
so
is the end of the race. Was pretty hectic in terms of a midfield battle, and obviously the most controversial moment of the race was between the drivers who were battling for the championship last season. That is VFix and Redstone. A lot of conversation to be had, but first, if one of you can invite our podium getters into the party chat for a quick interview before we call it a night.
yeah, I will.
so it's Redstone Mercury Land.
Redstone and
And
you are
Baz.
ambassador. Did you add Basil?
Yeah.
Right, so
Nice.
that's the race result in front of you. Vyom does keep the fastest lap, and behind VFX, PSI finishing in P13. And then Yash Gosali, of course, crashing out in fashion in the last lap. It was Ashwin Lakhwani, Sonic Hawk, Jishnu, and Bloodwave all retiring in the pits. So that's the end of the race, and it is Redstone back to his winning ways in P1 with Caesar and Baz sharing the podium. Redstone, hello. I hope you can hear us
Yes, loud and
and
clear, Malav.
and sure that your audio sharing is on. Baz is here as well. Redstone will come back to you in just a bit after we have our chat with Basil and Caesar. Baz, can you hear us? And I hope your audio sharing is on. Well, slow as always, Baz. Can anyone hear him?
I can't,
Yeah, what?
unfortunately.
Can't hear him.
Yeah, I can
Yep,
hear him now.
Baz,
Yeah.
we can hear you
Yeah,
now, and I
he's
hope
audible.
you can hear as well. This sounds like corporate call when people spend 10 minutes asking each other if they can hear us. But Baz, what a race from you. A silent race, maybe, especially in the second stint. Take us through your qualifying and your race, and especially the last part of the second stint where you seem to be making some inroads on Caesar, but unfortunately wasn't enough.
Yeah, fairly silent race. Two silent races back to back, but that just shows where my pace lies at the moment. I'll start with quali. Quali wasn't really great. Made a mistake on my lap, so yeah, it was P6 or something. And then the start was a bit of a mess. I don't know what that was at the start, but yeah, it was just getting my head down, trying to pick through the drivers. But yeah, at the end, I just couldn't catch Caesar. Caesar, I think, had enough VRS at the end. Good management at the end. But yeah, I managed to get it down to 1 second, but yeah, not enough. Not this time. I'll get you next time.
Yep, next time you will. Srikanth, Harsh, any questions for Baz before we move on to Caesar?
No, I don't have any questions, but a good race blast from you, and throw some insight on your second stint. That how were you able to gain that much time on Caesar?
Um, I think my overall pace on the hards wasn't too bad, but I'm pretty sure Caesar ran into traffic quite a bit. I think I got through the traffic quite well compared to him, so yeah, I guess that also played a factor. But I think overall we kind of had similar pace, so and he had good management of ERS, so yeah, I couldn't get him at the end.
So
That
that
covers
was a
pretty much
nice
it.
ride. Yeah, Harsh, please continue.
Yeah, no, so I think Bass pretty much covers all of it. So we can move on to P2 Caesar.
All right, moving on to our Supreme Leader. Caesar, what a race. Good qualifying, first of all. P2 front row. And take us through your outlap and the next few laps on the second stint after putting on to hard. Seemed like you lost a lot of time to Redstone, and that probably sealed Redstone's win and your P2.
Yeah, some race. To be honest, I enjoyed that race quite a bit, even though I don't think I raced anyone except initial 3 to 4 corners on lap one. But yeah, I just did a few runs, half an hour before the race, and in fact managed to match my time trial time in quali. So I was pretty surprised actually, qualifying to. But then after the first pit stop, Redstone managed to come just in front of Azun and had a clear air to make his way through. And fortunately for him, he was able to clear the traffic at the right time. But then again, as Basil said, I was stuck behind the traffic for a bit too long than I would have hoped, and that allowed him to close the gap, I think, around a second or so. And then, yeah, it was all about kind of managing the gap from there. I knew that, I had enough ERS in the tank to defend if he ended up getting close. So I was kind of saving it, whenever it was necessary. But fortunately, none of that, kind of that situation did not come in where he was within the DRS detection zone. Just adding to that, I felt more comfortable on the mediums than on the hards. Somehow my setup kind of switched off as soon as I went on to the hards. But then again, finishing in P2, I think I'll take that.
All right, sounds good. Srikanth, Harsh, any questions for Caesar?
Yeah, congrats on the P2 season and proud of you for that Red Bull in podium places. So, in this game, I have seen that you have restored your pace. So, can we see you like fighting for wins in few races time?
No.
I think I wouldn't disagree with that simple answer.
Okay.
No, I think, it's really really good to see that this grid we have this season is quite packed with drivers who are capable of race victories, and it's. I mean, I think I can see 7 to 8 drivers win this purely based on pace, and I'm not including myself in that list. So it's really good to see, and it's obviously much more, I would say, satisfactory when you score a P2 amongst all these quick drivers now that we have. So it's quite good. Seeing myself on top step of the podium, of course, that will be the aim for the season. But I know it won't be easy, and I know I have my task cut out in front of me. But let's see. I mean, let's see.
Okay. Congrats on your P2, but I am pretty disappointed that you agreed to Malo. So, yeah, let's continue on to our winner, Redstone. Malo, please continue.
Redstone, first of all, what a lap. Glad we caught that entire lap on the stream, on fully on board. So take us through your qualifying, a full 4 tenths clear of everyone else. So that was a stonking lap. Your race was pretty much straightforward from the word go, and what's just one incident, which obviously you know which one I'm talking about. You'd like your views on it. With VFix, seems like you and him cannot really avoid coming together. So just take us
Uh,
through your qualifying and that incident with Caesar, with
Yeah,
VFX.
firstly, massive congratulations to Caesar and Baz. They did a phenomenal job as well. And with quali, the first lap was a bit of a bummer. I just like couldn't like hook up a lap, and the second lap I went out and lost some time, so I thought I'll go out for another run. And then turn one, there were cars going off trying to let me through, I think. And there's an Alpha Tauri just joining turn two from the outside, and I just got thrown off by that. So I was like, okay, you know what? Third lap, I sector one wasn't the best, I would say. Messed up a bit. I definitely had like a tenth more in sector one alone. Then yeah, just like hooked it up together. The setup was amazing. The car felt really good to drive. That was pretty much it for quali. Maybe a tenth more, I think. But race, yeah, it was important to get a good start, but I don't think I got a good start, an average start. Broke late into turn one, accommodated Ciso, and we were battling for three corners. That was fun. And yeah, once I picked up pace and I could see that I could go through, I was just managing my tires, managing pace, and pitting for hards on lap 13, I think, or 14, I'm not sure. It was a good call because I don't think like I would have lost so much more time holding on to those mediums. And yeah, I was just like picking through traffic, and I come up behind VFix, of course. Lack of situational awareness there again. And I was almost alongside, and the man wants to like cut into the pits, and I didn't know he was going to pit. I was sure he was going to pit at some point, but you can't just like cut back when I'm on the inside when I'm going for a move, when I'm like 2 tenths behind or like alongside as well. So that's on him. And even if he wants to report, and even if I get a penalty, it's cool. I have 10 seconds to play with, I guess. That's about it from me.
All right,
Good,
Srikant.
good race, all in all.
Srikant, Harsh, any questions for our
Yeah,
race winner?
so Redstone, can you tell us about your second stint? So, as you went to the pit, Caesar was right with you, behind you, and in your second stint, you were just flying. So, did you get lucky with your traffic situation, or were you just flying in your second stint? What do you think?
I don't, I wouldn't say I necessarily got like lucky by any means. I had to pass Azun. I think he made a mistake as well. Or actually, I got ahead of Azun. And then I still had like a lot of cars to like fight my way through. And a lot of them were like, a lot of them were playing DRS chicken. So I was playing it too. So yeah, after that, like once I was clear and like I could set my eyes on the victory, and I just like I felt comfortable in the hards more than the mediums, I would say. At least with the setup I was running.
Okay, yeah. All right. Once again, congratulations, Redstone. Amazing pace today.
Thank you, Harsh. Thank you, Olive. And thanks,
Yeah,
Shrikant.
Yeah, I was the biggest supporter of you this race.
Yeah, yeah. Lucky
yeah,
charm.
yeah. Redstone. Watch the stream back, Redstone, to see how much support he lended you.
Yeah, yeah, I
But
know, I know.
but either ways, that brings it to the end of the stream. And thank you to the Ferrari boys for joining me. In fact, allowing me to be a part of this Comspark because almost I didn't turn up. But it was good fun. And congratulations to Redstone, Caesar, and Baz once again for their podiums. We'll see you next week in Monza. So expect a lot of chaos there as well, down to turn one especially. But that's it from the comms box and IRL this weekend. We'll see you next Friday for the Division 2 race in Monza and Saturday for Division 1 race. Until then, take care of yourselves, goodbye, and prepare for another Dutch national anthem at 7:30 or 8:30 in the evening tomorrow.